Oh, Vanshika, Prastuti. Quite a few. Has anyone else attended our session before? Oh, quite a few. 4, 5 people. Parth, Manan, Shavya. Great. Please come tomorrow also if you want a certificate. Vanshika. Lovely. Thank you so much for being our um, loyal followers. It's wonderful to see all of you every single time. Bright faces, ego warriors for tomorrow.
Hi, Anubhuti. We are live now. We can start.
That's fantastic. So, should we start the session? Are you all ready, pepped up, booming with energy? Yeah, just like your reactions button and your thumbs up. Great. Amazing. So, oh, lovely. That's amazing. I think the Zoom session is booming with thumbs ups and great kudos to kickstart. So, good evening, everyone. A big warm welcome to all you young climate champions joining us today for Careers for a Cooler Planet. I hope you're excited because we are about to set off on a journey. Not just any journey, but one that zooms straight into your future, your dream job, and shows you how you can make the planet a better place through your skills, passions, and imagination. You've signed up for a very special masterclass and workshop, and hats off to each one of you for taking this first step towards becoming a green hero of tomorrow. Whether you want to be a scientist, a lawyer, a doctor, an artist, or a businesswoman, or even a game developer, you'll be amazed to discover that every career can become a green career if it helps protect and heal our beautiful earth. So, over the next 2 days, we'll help you discover your green superpower. Yes, that's something that makes you uniquely awesome at helping the planet. So let me quickly walk you through the program. Today is the day one, is all about mapping the world of green jobs. We'll explore exciting eco careers and understand how our ideas and dreams can lead to real world solutions. So you will get an overview of the variety of careers that are available to you, which is why the session today is called the Green Career Map. And tomorrow, the day two, is a hands-on workshop. So you'll have to get ready for fun activities and creative challenges where you will rename yourself based on your dream green jobs, like Hita, the educationist and entrepreneur, and share job what job you can do using Zoom whiteboards. And you will do a quick skill scan poll to find out your climate career strengths. And you will join breakout room challenges where you will solve real environmental problems like a true green professional. I hope it sounds fun to you. And here's an important announcement. Please make sure that you attend at least 30 minutes both today and tomorrow to be eligible for the participation certificate. All right? Make sure that you attend 30 minutes on both days to be eligible for participation certificate. So don't miss out. Stick around, learn lots, and enjoy the full experience. And before we begin, just a quick few housekeeping rules. Today's session will be led by our amazing speaker, Hita Lakhani. While she is presenting, all of you will stay on mute, but the chat box will stay open. So feel free to share your comments and reactions. If you have a question, you can either send it to me directly, as in DM me on the chat strip, or raise your hand at the end and we'll unmute you so you can ask it yourself. We'll take your questions during the question and answer session right after the talk. So now the highlight of the day, it's time to introduce a brilliant speaker. Please join me in welcoming Hita Lakhani. an inspiring climate educator and entrepreneur who's been shaping global conversations around climate change. She holds a master's in environmental studies from Terry University and has worked tirelessly to empower youth and vulnerable groups to make meaningful climate action uh, possible. She's been a part of the UN Climate Change Conference since 2015 and served as a global focal point for Youngo, which is the youth arm of the UNFCCC, UNFCCC. She even co founded the Youth Negotiators Academy, helping young people become climate negotiators at the global level. So keep your curiosity hats on and let's begin to discover your green superpower. Over to you, Hita, now.
Thank you, Anubhuti. Hello, everyone. A very good evening to you. How are you doing? Can I see some emotions on emoticons in the chat on how you're feeling? Either in the chat or you can just do a reaction button, whatever you prefer. Great. I see some thumbs up. I see some messages in the chat. Good evening to all of you. Um, okay, so let's dive right into it. I know that you are all very excited to learn about different green careers, how you can make change, what you can do. So for the next about 30 to 40 minutes, that's all we're going to talk about. Let me share my screen before we get started. Okay, cool. Can you confirm that you can all see my screen? Yes, perfect. All right. So as Anubhuti mentioned, I'm Hita. I run an organization called the Climact Initiative. And the Climact Initiative, or TCI, uh, which is a short form, we basically work on the intersection of climate education, leadership, and action. So what we do is not to be bothered about today, but basically we run a lot of different programs. We work with children, we work with young people, specifically building their capacities to be able to take more action on climate change and the environment. Today's focus is careers for a cooler planet. It's a fun name, but it's also a fun topic. And before we get into specific careers for the planet, let's check about what careers exist out there. So I'm going to show an image, and with that, you can either unmute yourself or you can put in the chat whatever you're comfortable with. Tell me a guess on what career do you think this image is, okay? Okay, well, before we get into careers as well, there's a little bit of background, but that's easy. I think every one of you knows this. Basically, a career is a job or a profession that you choose to do for a long time, right? So it might require some certain training, it might require certain education, it might require certain skills, and this we would figure, of course, in the rest of today and tomorrow. But basically, let's take a guess on what careers exist out there, and let's try and see how we can sort of whether we can actually guess the ones that are there. So I see a lot of detectives, but we're not started yet. So hold that thought for another minute. One second, let me just get my chat box ready. All right. Okay. What do you think this is? Chemist, scientist, absolutely correct. This is a scientist. Next one, what do you think this is? Doctor. Yeah, absolutely. So many messages in the chat. Yes, doctor. This one, chef. 100% correct. This is a chef. The next one, astronaut. Yeah. Okay, how about this one? Soldier, army, yeah. Yeah, this is a soldier in the military, yes, army officer. Perfect. Lots of different guesses. Okay, how about this one? Painter, artist, wonderful. Yeah, this is an artist, this is a painter. Okay, this one. Yeah, this is a director. Someone said looks French. Yeah, could be a French person. So, director or filmmaker. How about this one? This is a farmer, a gardener, absolutely right. Okay, how about this one? Architect. Yeah, you guys are very smart. Very quick at guessing. I don't have to wait at all for the responses. Okay, this one. Yeah, this is a lawyer or a judge. Yes. How about this one? Athlete, player, basketball player. Yeah, so sports person. How's this? Singer. Yeah, singer or someone who performs. So we could, this is specifically, yes, the images of a singer. So you are right. How's this? Yeah, this is an engineer or a builder. There was a civil engineer that someone said as well. So this is an engineer. Yes. Any guesses on this one? There's police. I saw a pilot somewhere. Okay, policewoman, pilot, two different options, but yes, an officer or a police woman or whatever, one of those. Any guesses on this? This might be slightly tricky. An analyst, a detective. Yeah, actually, I should have gone for detective here. But, well, I guess something else here, so I have a different response. But I think detective and analyst is actually not right, not wrong. But this one is meant to be a researcher, but I think like it could be different things as well. Someone who analyzes data, someone it really looks like this one is a detective, yeah. Okay, how about this one? President, student, spokesperson, NGO, judge, orator, politician. Yeah, this one could also be a lot of different things, right? This is also, yeah, a delegate, a nun, yeah. This one could be a lot of different things actually. This one was meant to be a politician, but you're right. I think a lot of those options that you've mentioned can be correct. Okay. So now tell me in the chat, what is your dream career? What would you like to be when you grow up? Someone saying detective, someone says chefs. Oh wow, the answers are coming very quickly. Fashion designer, scientist, engineer, singer, businessman, footballer. Someone said IAS, someone said a vet, teacher, human rights advocate, civil engineer, footballer, army officer. Yeah, cardiologist. Nephrologist, wow, we have lots of specialized careers as well. Journalist, K-pop idol, yes, that's another thing. Psychologist, quantum physics, doctor, cartoonist, archaeologist, psychiatrist. Wow, that's a lot of different careers, right? Some we saw, some we didn't. A lot of different careers that are coming up here. So, can you tell me a little why? Can someone write in the chat? Why do you feel like being any of this that you've mentioned? So if someone said doctor, if someone said K-pop, someone said architect, cardiologist, whatever. Scientist and part-time astrologer. Yes. And entrepreneur or edupreneur. Okay, that's another one as well. Someone wants to be a leader. Because someone says they're good hobbies, someone says because their favorite thing in the world. You want to understand people's behaviors because it's your passion and you want to fulfill your dreams. Oh, you want to be a teacher. Does someone want to unmute themselves and share a little bit? Maybe in like 30 seconds? Yes, Prastuti.
Ma'am, I want to be a doctor, and in the doctor's category, I want to be a nephrologist because sitting at home doing nothing can be a bit harmful for our life because earning can because money is a lot a lot important for our day-to-day life, and it is not just for money that I want to be a doctor, but I also want to help people.
All right. You want to help people get better? Yes, thank you. That's a nice thing. Yes, Gorish, your hand is up. You wanna tell us? You're on mute, Gorish, if you're speaking. You need to unmute yourself.
Okay,
Yes.
so I want to become into an astronaut because you see, I want to travel interstellar and explore beyond oblivion. And anyways, it's my
Wow.
passion, so I would obviously follow it. It's my guts which decide which journey I should take and which journey I should not.
Yeah, thank you. That's a fun passion to have. Yes. There's someone
Thank you.
else. Sangan, do you want to share? Your hand is up as well.
Yes.
You're on mute as well, Brisangan. You need to unmute yourself. Yeah.
Ma'am, I want to be a astronaut and a part-time physicist because science interests me and I want to go into outer space.
Yeah. Lots of people want to
Graduation.
go into outer space. True. That's very exciting. Thank you, Brisangan. Yes, Ganeev, you want to share as well?
I want to become a psychiatrist as I saw some people whose mental health was not well. So when I saw them, I just wanted that when I grow up, I'll become a psychiatrist and help others.
Yeah. Mental health is important, yes, and you want to help others. That's lovely. Okay, we'll take two more. Um, okay, Ayansh, I'm gonna ask you to unmute. Do you want to share?
Yes, ma'am. And ma'am, I want to be a mathematician because I love maths and want to develop something new in mathematics. And also, if I want, I can be like a scientist because I love to see how something works and want to make other types of laws.
Yeah. Mathematician is also, wow, that's a fun one. Okay. One last one, and I know there's lots of requests in the chat. Don't worry, we'll have time to chat also through the rest of the presentation. So don't worry if you're not able to speak now. We'll try and speak with as many of you as we can between today and tomorrow. Okay, Bhavishya, do you want to share? I'm going to ask you to unmute.
Mama, I want to become army officer and protect our country.
Sorry, can you repeat that? What do you want to do?
Mama, I want to become army officer and protect
Army
our
officer.
country.
Yeah, thank you.
I
All
will
right,
become
thank you, guys. Yeah. Thank you, guys. Thank you for sharing. So, lots of different motivations, right? To help others, to explore space because you're passionate about a particular subject, a particular topic. You want to protect the nation. And I'm sure there are so many more because all of you had so many different things that you wanted to be. Someone's writing human rights activist. Wow. Okay, so lots of different things, right? So, you want to basically do something, one, that is exciting for you. Two, maybe some people want to help somebody, so there's another reason. Someone might want to protect the nation. But I think the biggest picture that we're seeing here is that you want to have fun while doing it. Is that right? Yes? Do you want to have fun? Like anyone who says, I don't want to have fun when I do my job? So I see a lot of smiling faces. So I assume everyone wants to have fun, right? So whether it is something that you want to do now, whether this is something that might change, has this changed for somebody? Yes, has this changed? Like maybe when you were a little kid, maybe there was something else that you wanted to think be. Yes, I see some hands raised as well. Like this has changed for people as well, right? So there are different things we want to be at different points in our life. And that's normal, right? That's exactly how it is. That's how it is going to go. So, before we get into any other details, we'll share a little bit. I will share a little bit actually, and I also have two of my colleagues here. And I'll share a little bit about my story, about what I wanted to be as a young child, and then how that has changed and what I'm doing today. And then we'll also hear from two of my colleagues as well, just to see how careers have also evolved, how we have also evolved with time. So, when I was a young girl, actually, the first thing when I was really tiny, when I was a baby, I wanted to be a mother. I just wanted to have lots and lots of kids and wanted to be a mummy. So I used to tell people I'm going to have like 10 kids and that's all I'm going to do. And then, of course, as I grew up, different things that I wanted to be. I wanted to be an astronaut, like some of you have said as well. So I really wanted to be an astronaut, see what happens in the world outside of us. What is space like? And what does that look like? And then slowly that changed, and then I wanted to be an air hostess. So basically, clearly, I wanted to do something in the sky, whether it was, if not an astronaut, I wanted to be in a plane and like be an air hostess. And then there was this one time, I was probably around 13. So I think some of you are probably around that same age. And I was coming home from school. I live in the city of Bombay. Currently, I'm not in Bombay though, but I live in the city of Bombay. And I was coming home from school, and there was this one moment I remember. I was passing by Marine Drive, and this was many years ago, right? And they were basically doing a whole beautification project. They were widening the road and they were making space for more walking. So the photos that you see of Marine Drive today, basically that was what they were making. So for that bit, they had the seaside towards the sea was lined by coconut trees. And for this particular thing, to widen the road, they had to also make space and they had to ensure that the space was also safe. And the coconut trees, like you all know, are tall. They're very tall. They sway with the wind. And sometimes when it's heavy rains, the branches, the leaves, the coconuts also sometimes fall down. And Bombay, especially Marine Drive, gets lots of wind and lots of heavy monsoon, so it can pose a risk as well. So for that reason, they basically decided to take off all the trees, all the coconut trees. There are still other trees that are still existing, but the long, big coconut trees are what they decided to take out. So as I was coming home from school that afternoon, and I was passing by, that was basically what was going on. I saw this huge, massive coconut tree that they had just taken off and they had put it on a trailer. So it was lying horizontal. They didn't cut it off. It was lying horizontal on a big, big trailer. And this basically, I could see all of its entire root system out. I could see its leaves. I could see the whole tree, except it being majestic and tall, it was lying horizontal. And something within me changed. I felt very helpless and I could not understand how, because they kept saying this was a Marine Drive beautification project. And I could not understand how this was a beautification project when the actual natural beauty was being taken out of the place. And I was in tears. I went home, I was crying, and that's all I could think of for the next couple of days. That's all I spoke to anybody who was around me. And it was around that time when someone very jokingly, because I was obsessed about, someone very jokingly told me, you care so much about the environment, you should be an environmentalist when you grow up. And it was meant to be like a side remark, like, very like, this is what you should do, you care so much. And I was like, okay, that sounds cool. I have no idea what that meant. So that's how I started asking people. I started figuring out what is an environmentalist. So ever since I was 13, that has then been my goal. I said, when I grow up, I'm going to be an environmentalist. I had no idea what the word meant until that day. And I was like, okay, I think this seems like a fun thing to do. So that stayed with me, of course. A lot of things changed over time. But somehow the love and the passion to do something for the environment didn't change. And eventually, of course, long story short, but yes, I did do a master's in environmental studies, did work in the environment through various different ways, and now founded this organization called the Climate Initiative. So I think the thing that I want you to take back is that, of course, a lot of things happen. What we might decide today might not necessarily be the case a few years down the line, but you never know what it is. So this little spark in you, some of you shared and some of you also shared in the chat. What is the one thing that really excites you? Something that you want to have fun, something that you're really, really passionate about, right? And for me, that became the environment. For you, that might be really exploring mathematical theories. For someone, it might be going into space, figuring out how does the outer space look like? Well, what is the complexities of the universe? For someone, it might be helping people, whether it's mental health, whether it's physical health. For someone, it is, inventing different things, trying to find solutions to problems. For someone, it is just the pure joy from like playing a sport, doing an activity, no matter what it is, right? So for each person, this pure joy, this sort of sense of takeaway is very different. But try and stick to that, because that what will help you figure out what you want to do. But that's enough for me from now. I will hand over actually to two of my colleagues so that they can share as well on what it was for them when they were younger and how they want to take this forward. So, Viveka, over to you.
Thanks, Hita. It's so lovely to see all of you and the passion with which you guys are so interested in the different careers that you want to do. I really hope that you guys can make that into a reality, manifest it for yourself. But like Hita said, I think for a lot of us, um our career journey has been very different from what we had thought of when we were kids. So just like Hita and a lot of you who wrote down your dream jobs in the chat. For me also, I wanted to become a scientist when I grew up, and very specifically, I wanted to become an astronomer, not an astronaut, an astronomer who studies planets and space and stars. And I had all these different books, for children who to help them understand about the solar system. And my dream was to work for NASA. Um, so I wanted to study all these other different planets and all. But as a normal child, I would also watch cartoons, right? Like a lot of you would be watching so many different cartoons. And I don't know if you know about this particular cartoon, but when I was younger, there was something called Captain Planet and the Planeteers. And that specifically focused on these amazing five school kids who had the power to save different elements of the earth, right? So somebody had the power to help trees grow and help soil and earth. They could manipulate earth and use that so that they can create more forests. There was somebody who could bring water and use water whenever she needed it. Somebody else could manipulate fire. Somebody else could do wind. And then finally, there was this one child who had the ability to use heart and like connect with animals and people through the heart. Um, and what they did was they would try and fight bad guys who were trying to destroy the planet. And destroy the planet how? By polluting it, by emitting so many bad emissions and gases and black smoke that we see nowadays. And a lot of you, I believe, are also from the city of Delhi and the regions around it, so you know what I'm talking about. um, or polluting the earth by all that dirty water that comes from factories. So they used to come together and work with this superhero called Captain Planet and save the planet from these bad guys who were polluting it. And I used to love watching that cartoon. And whenever I used to watch it, I was like, yeah, I think I'm going to try and make our planet better before I start studying all these other planets in our solar system. So over time, it kind of evolved. The scientists remained, but instead of going into outer space and studying about other planets, I was like, no, I want to study more about our planet. And I would always be very, I loved animals. So I always wanted to, like bring stray animals home, feed them. If they were hurt, then nurse them back. And whoever I was, right? Like if I could bring a cow in the house, I would have done that as well. Although my mother would probably have thrown me out with the cow. But yeah, so I was always, keen on working with animals and protecting them and all. Which is why when the time came for me to choose what I wanted to study, I decided I'm going to study zoology. And then when I went there, I realized that okay, I there's this degree in zoology, so I'm going to enroll in that. But then I also found this degree in environmental sciences, which included all the same things that zoology offered, right? So you're studying zoology, you're studying about plants, you were also studying about the science of how the environment functions, how the world functions. And I'm like, oh wait, this sounds even nicer than zoology, so let me try this. And that's how I studied environmental sciences in my bachelor's. And then I went for my master's, which is a later story. But while I was doing my bachelor's in environmental sciences, even then there was just a lot of up and down in what I wanted to do after my bachelor's. And what happened is that one time I had the opportunity to go to an organic farm in Dehradun. And I visited that organic farm, and there were kids who were, living, who were kids from of nearby farmers who worked at the organic farm. So they lived near the this particular campus. And these kids were, like they would come inside, they would play around, and I felt like I wanted to engage with them and talk to them. So I'm like, hey, do you guys know what your parents are doing here? Do you know what organic farming even means? And they had no clue about it. So I quickly sat them down, did a session, tried to do a little game with them to help them understand what organic farming is. And while they enjoyed the session, I enjoyed the session even more than them, right? Seeing how, they were connecting the dots and how they were understanding, things about in their farm, right? Like there are worms in the farm. How do they have an important role to play in the farm? Or, there are other animals on the farmland, whether they're cows or whether they're chickens or whether they're goats, and how they have a role to play in the farm. And it was so exciting for all of us to be together and engaging with each other that I decided that maybe this is what I want to do in the environment space. Maybe I don't want to do a science. I don't want to become a scientist and be cooped up in a lab, just testing uh, pollution material and dirty water and wastewater. Maybe this is how I want to, save the planet and talk to people and tell them that, we've got this beautiful world. We've got this amazing earth. No other planet, as far as we know, has a human life or has any life for that matter. So let's try and save it, and that's how I got into this space of working for in environmental education and engaging with amazing promising young people like you guys. So like Hita said, I think that that journey looks very different for different people. So while I did study science, I did to some extent become a scientist. I'm not really in a lab doing what a traditional scientist does. And I actually now go by, the title of an educator, which is completely different from what I had earlier thought of. But who knows? Maybe I still get to go and work with NASA someday. So fingers crossed. Uh, but on that note, I think I'm going to pass it to Shrishti and ask her to also share her journey and how she got into this space.
Thank you, Viveka. Hi, everyone. I hope I am audible to everyone. Cool. So, heard lots of stories. I remember when I was a child, I wanted to be a doctor because I thought doctors are kind of a god. That they can save anybody. I don't know why, because maybe I was watching some kind of serial with my mom, and I was like, "The doctors are god," and I want to be doctor. Something very the job which is very important to the society. And I don't know when that idea fades. I remember my journey to join environment science, to study environment science or climate change. It grew when I was very young. I remember I was in sixth standard. I bought first magazine, and this is so coincidence that I got it, CSE Down to Earth magazine in my hand. And my father told me, whatever you want to read, you buy something very which give you knowledge, and I didn't know anything about environment science, climate change, anything, sixth standard student, what she might know. And what she got permission to buy one thing, and I got Down to Earth magazine. I look into the magazine, I didn't know what was written. The pictures were so good, and the photo of earth, where one side it was showing dry earth, and the other side was like full of trees. That was so fascinating, and I was like, what is this job where you can write and you get published with this good paintings and all. That time I wanted that whenever I get a job, I want to go into this Down to Earth company. I didn't know what is Down to Earth. This is I thought this is a company which makes these magazines. And then I started to read buy Down to Earth magazine every month, and I started to understand what is environment science, what is climate change. And then also when I was 7th 8th standard, I used to write to IISc also. I am a student of 7th standard, and I think this is global warming, and do you have any project for children? And obviously they are not going to answer me back. I used to mail to some big scientists and all. But deep down I always knew I want to study environment science, always. Then I don't know where the idea of doctor, becoming a doctor, fades. Now I want to protect my planet. I don't know how I'm going to protect my planet, but I want to protect my planet. So I did my graduation in environment science and water management. This this environment science and water management is such a good and interesting subject. Like Viveka said, it has everything: zoology, botany, fluid mechanics, everything. It will teach you about global warming, how to save climate, what are the policies. And I was like literally onto this. And this was my story of joining environment science. I think when I was in seventh, eighth, I thought that I am going to study environment science. After studying environment science, one thing clicked, that I don't know anything about policies. I don't know how Indian, international. I was in graduation, and then also I was like, I don't know anything about, what are the policies, how, if we know that this is global warming, how we are going to protect it. And then I thought of joining Terry and study climate science and policy. Also I did my minor project from CSC, and I got my first chance to meet Sunita ma'am and publish my first uh, article in Down to Earth. And that day I called my father. I finally got it. I told him that, this was my dream when I was a 6 standard student, that I want to get published in Down to Earth, and I finally got it. I was really happy for that. And then I did my project also from CSC. So yeah, this, for me, I take little dreams, like I want to do this, I want to get into it. And then when I was in masters, from my first semester, I want to go into IISc. I wanted to study what is, climate science, and how policy can, get in line. So then also in Terry, I got lots of what do you say, lots of experience in climate science and policy. uh, being uh, being in a field of climate change or environment science, I can say this is an interesting field. You will get to know lots of things, you will get to have experience. Then I got into IISc, there I worked. I was working with many corporates, I was working with many, companies. One thing I always felt, there was a weak thing, that people don't know about global warming, people don't know about climate change. What is climate change? Then I decided to, start my career in climate education, where I can talk to people, where I can get, knowledge, that what are the communities which are facing climate change. How we can solve as a, climate enthusiast. So yeah, this was my little personal story. Yeah, about my journey to climate change.
Thank you, Shrishti. And thank you, Viveka, as well, for sharing. I mean, as you've seen, for all of us, it's been very different. But there is one common thing about this, right? Between all three of us, very different journeys, very different aims and goals, things that we wanted to be as children. But the one common thing has always been that we wanted to do something about the planet. We don't know what exactly it was. But at some point, we knew that this was what it was somewhere down the line, right? There was no like, going like, okay, today onwards, this is what it's going to be. But there was definitely some sort of journey which said, okay, this is going to be what we want to focus on. And that trajectory, even for three people who still do something in the environment in the same organization, has looked very, very different. So imagine when we're so many of us, we're about 100 of us plus on this call. So there are going to be 100 different journeys for each of us. Yeah. For each person, your journey is going to be very unique compared to the other person that's on the call, compared to your friend, your classmate, your brother, your sister, your colleague, your friend, whatever that might be. And this is the fun bit about it, right? We get to craft our own journeys to a large extent. Yes. Of course, there are some societal factors, some environmental factors which may or may not help, but there are some bits that you can actually craft, and there are some bits that are in your control. So, to a large extent, you can decide how this might slowly unfold. You will never be able to predict, you're never going to know that 10 years down the line, this is what I'm going to be doing, because things will change. But like I said, it's somewhere in the middle, right? Like if there is something you're truly, genuinely passionate about, and for the three of us, it happened to be environment. For you, it might be something else. It might be, a lot of you said, like, doctors or like mental health practitioners for helping other people. Can you still see my screen though? I'm not sure what happened right now.
We can
Uh,
see your video, but not your presentation.
Okay, I will go back to sharing my screen. Um, okay, so basically, the whole point is that there will be something which you really want to do. And For some of you said you wanted to help people. That might be in different forms, right? Whether it is through medicine, through doctors, through mental health, like through psychiatry, psychologist. It might be through various other forms where someone says, I want to do research and help figure out XYZ. Someone might say that I want to bring more joy in the world because I get joy from singing or dancing or from playing a sport. And I think these things are important as well to help people. So no matter what you do, I think there is an interrelation. And the bottom line is that one, we need a beautiful world to live in so that we can have beautiful lives and we can achieve all the dreams we want to achieve. So, for that, we need to have something which we called our planet, the nature. We need to have bountiful resources so that we can get good, healthy food. We can have areas for us to be out in for recreation, but also just to spend some time. So, we need green spaces, we need connection with nature, we need clean air, clean water, as we're all aware. So, the very basic things outside of our dreams, our aspirations, the very basic things that we need to help fulfill those dreams and aspirations is a planet. So, I want to give the mic back to you, and if you want to share in the chat, what was your one magical moment with nature that you remember? Might be anything, might be some plant that you've seen in your balcony, or it might be an animal that you saw somewhere, or a bird outside your window, whatever that might be. What is a one magical moment that you can remember right now um, that you might want to share with us? So feel free to put it in the chat. Someone says, when I saw a valley from a mountain, when I was on a beach and realized, saw the endless sea, a sunset. Yeah, when someone could interact with an animal. When your voice echoed through the hills. Yeah. You were in a park and you saw many birds. When you saw a butterfly land on your hand. Oh, how cute. When you saw a Venus flytrap. Wow, someone saw a tulip festival. Someone saw a sunrise. More sunsets and sunrises. A whole canal from a mountain. Wow, beautiful bird. A pet bunny in the garden. A paradise flycatcher in its nest. Wow, there's lots of different. Okay, this ones are coming much quickly than I can read. Rain, yeah, the smell of. Does someone like the smell of like first rain when it just starts raining after a long time of no rain and the smell of wet mud? Yeah, every time the rain and it smells, it makes the trees so green. Someone says, "Are you in a park right now?" There's a small crow. Oh, how cute. Sunsets when someone planted a seed, sunrises, waterfalls, beach. Someone tied an owl and you wanted to help him. Oh, that's so nice. Oh gosh, when someone had a puppy run over, oh, that's not fun. Lots of trips to the mountains. You saw a blue bird in a park. Wow, a pink and purple sunset. A majestic tigress. Wow, lots of different responses. Your finger almost got stuck in a pitcher plant. A sunset in a valley between mountains. A herd of sheep. So, I mean, just look at the responses that you're getting, right? I think just reading this gives me so much joy. Just reading what gives other people joy, like a little magic with our planet. And it's these little things. It's not something very big. It's not something when the world absolutely changed and miracle happened overnight. But it's this little thing. It's a sunrise, a sunset, a bird in the backyard, somewhere that you've gone, some mountains, the voice echoing through a valley, whatever that might be, a peacock dancing in the rain. So, a lot of different things which basically bring a little bit of magic in our life. So, my next question to you is walking under the moonlight. Okay, there's lots of wonderful responses coming. My next question to you, have one more question coming to you. Would you like to have this magic protected? Would you like to have a little more of this magic every day? Yes. Why do you think we need to protect it? Why do you think we need to keep this magic alive? For future generations, to keep us happy, because it helps us survive, yes. For less heat. Big word, sustainable development, yes. For future, to give us joy, to help us feel nice, to keep nature healthy, yes, because it affects our life. For mental health, to pass on for future generations, yes. To not help just ourselves but also other species. To maintain the environment, someone says we're directly and indirectly dependent on nature. For other living beings, because it makes us happy, it can make somebody else happy too. Yes, absolutely. It helps us feel connected and calm. To protect the earth. For joy. Lots of different reasons, right? For conservation of biodiversity. All right. So I think one thing we're seeing is we need to keep the earth healthy. We're hearing things about keeping it something for future generations. Yes, so for other people, for other species, for people yet to come. Can you tell me? I'm a little selfish, okay? I mean, it's fine, it works for me. Why do I need to care about generations to come? Why does that matter? I had my fun. How does it matter whether kids who are not even born yet? Because that's what future generations are, right? People who we've never seen, people who are not born yet. We don't know who they are, what they'll be. Why do we need to protect anything for them? We have our own fun with the planet, and that's about it. Because the world will not end, because it'll be our children. Because someone had resources saved for us, absolutely. Yeah, so that somebody, they can enjoy things that we experienced as well. So that they can get joy, to keep the uniqueness of the earth, yes. To make it more alive. We're not always going to stay here, but yes, we need to hand it over. The world doesn't end, but generations to come will, yes, and they will be our ancestors. We should not be selfish. Yeah, being selfish is not a nice thing. I think we all know that. Right. So I think this is something we all know. It's not just for generations to come. How about ourselves? Would you like to grow up in a world which is green, which has clean air, lots of nice open spaces to be in, beautiful mountains, more sunsets, more colors, more birds, more fish? Yes? So definitely, it's also a little bit of selfishness. And in this case, it's a different way of how you look at it. Yes, we want to protect it for ourselves. We want to ensure that we have something to hand over. Yes, to other people that come. And I think a lot of you said there are different species on the planet. It is not just the humans, right? We are one in a billion species on the planet. We're literally one of them. So we have as much right to the planet as every single species, every single plant, worm, butterfly, insect, whatever that is out there, right? From the biggest majestic tigers to the tiniest little worm in the soil, right? They are all inheriting the planet exactly the way we do. So we do not have a higher claim to the planet just because we can talk and we can walk. And we do not own the planet just because we can talk and we can walk, right? So definitely, because we can do both of these, we have brains, we can think, we can talk, we can invent things, we can develop. I think it gives us a higher responsibility to ensure that we can look after a common good, which is our planet, for everybody else. So for that, of course, no matter what we do, right? We don't necessarily all need to say, okay, we're going to be environmentalists when we grow up, like I did. Because as you've seen, just between the three of us, there are different ways of how that's happened. And for each of you, this might look very different. Yes, we can't buy some things with money. Absolutely true, right? If you do not have a green forest, you do not have a green forest. No amount of money is going to bring back a forest. No amount of money is going to bring you clean, fresh air. Yes, you can buy air purifiers, but no amount of money is going to bring you fresh air the way the natural planet can do. And yes, we want the world to be good. We want it to be perfect. We want it to protect, to get things. Yes, everything that we use, everything that we eat, drink, use, travel, function, whatever that we do, in some form, comes from the natural world. Yes? So today we're all connected here on our computers, on our phones, whatever that might be. The very basic things, the phone or computer is still more like complicated, but the very basic things of building these devices, the way we can talk to each other, comes from metals, comes from minerals, and that comes from the planet. So we would not be able to have this conversation today. I am sitting in a far, far away country. I'm currently in Canada. You're in India. We would not be able to talk to each other through internet if it was not through resources, through technology, all of that, yes, through innovation. So through a lot of things that people have developed. But mainly, if we did not have resources from the planet that we could use to build all of this. So all our dreams, our aspirations, everything is dependent on the assumption that we have resources and that we can continue to use them. So, to be able to continue to use them, the very basic thing is we need to ensure that we continue having these resources. So, very simple logic, right? It's not complicated. We can only do all of the dreams that we want to do if we have a thriving, fully functional planet to help us do our dreams. So, let's reimagine some of the careers. Do we think some of the things that we spoke about at the start, right? You did a lot of wonderful guesses. Do you think some of these can be designed differently? Or do you think some of these careers can help protect the planet? So let's look at them again. And then, of course, there are lots of different careers. There are new careers that may not even exist today, which in the next 10 years, by the time you are up and you're doing workforces, there'll be new careers that you can do as well. But even within these, right? Some of the very basic ones that we spoke about. Can we reimagine them a little bit? So this one was a scientist. Can a scientist do something to protect the planet? Yes? Everyone's saying yes. How do you think a scientist can help? Tell me how. Any thoughts on how do you think a scientist? Yes, the scientist can do research. They can invent a lot of different things. Innovation. Yes, lots of research, innovation, different projects, discover different methods. A doctor. Do you think a doctor can do something to protect the planet? Raising awareness. Yes. A doctor can help our lives, can help save lives as well. Yes. Protection from diseases. Absolutely. So a doctor there are different things, right? A doctor, of course, deals with people, but there's also more public health. So looking at what kind of diseases might come, how do we try and, one, avoid them? How do we try and work to ensure that we can actually help populations and also deal with different diseases? Yes, if there's a doctor that works in a big firm, he can also help protect. So plant diseases as well, yes. A chef. Can a chef help protect the planet? Doctor also, yes. Vaccines. Can a chef help protect the planet? A lot of people are saying no. Are you sure? Think a little bit. Are you sure a chef can't do anything to protect the planet? What does a chef do? Cooks food, right? Where does this food come from? Yes, a chef feeds humans, absolutely. So maybe we can look at what food we're eating. Yes. Where is it coming from? So, what is the source of the food? Yes. If we dig even deeper, yes, if you just get a little bit more curious, how is this food grown? Are we trying to, the source where the food is coming from, the vegetables, the meat, the dal, the rice, whatever that might be, right? Can we try and source back a little bit on like where is the source? How is it grown? Who was involved? Can we ensure that the food that we're cooking, the food that even restaurants, for example, that one, it's nutritious, it's healthy, it's not exploiting the planet. We're cooking local food, right? So, whatever that might mean. So, you hear someone says, I want the world to be perfect. And perfect is a constant state of evolution, right? What is perfect? So, to achieve this state of perfectness, we all have a little role to play. Okay, an artist. Do you think an artist can do something to protect the planet? A painter, an artist? No? Let's think a little bit. Can they? By making posters, by using eco friendly materials, by painting images, yes, to make spread awareness? Absolutely. So, even artists, for example, through the work that they do, whether it is a painting, whether it is something else, they can, through their work, talk about the natural world, they can talk about our lives. There's lots of different art out there, lots of different installations, lots of different forms of art as well. And a lot of people are using creative arts, right? So, dance, music, painting, whatever that might mean, to talk to inspire other people. So, through the power that they have, they're getting more people to be inspired to protect the planet. So, whatever that might mean, right? Use your creative senses by using natural paints as well, of course. Filmmakers or directors, is there anything that they can do? Yes, no. Yes, what can filmmakers do? They can make documentaries, yes. Make movies, yes. So, through the work that they're doing, spread awareness, make films that inspire people. A director tells powerful stories, so yes. Storytelling, yes. A lot of how can we get more people to do different things? Maybe we can showcase different things that are going on. So bring more voice to people that are doing the work through the films, through the art, through the paintings, through whatever that might mean. Making films that will inspire people. The other thing that they can do, despite just making the films, can we think a little bit back and say maybe the process of filmmaking, right? The people that are involved, the resources they use, the places that they go to, can they be a little bit more conscious on how they're doing this? So it's not just the end product, it's also the process of getting to the end product. So yeah, making saving the earth not a boring thing. I think artists, filmmakers, they have a very important role. Make it fun, make it accessible, make it understandable to everyone. Okay, farmer or a gardener. Yes, what can they do? You can grow food, yeah? So a little bit on, we spoke about chef. Yes, a chef is using the food that's grown. A farmer has the control to actually see how they can grow this, right? So what goes into the food, what kind of crops they're growing, how much water the crops need, what are the seasons, what is the land type on the crops. So a lot of different things that farmers can do. And a lot of different things that researchers and scientists can do to help farmers. A lot of things that businessmen can do to help farmers, big businesses can do to ensure that they can sell the produce, give the farmer good money for the produce, give them the right wages. And for the farmers itself, yes, like not using pesticides, not using chemicals. So what can they do to basically be more in harmony with nature as they're growing the food? Okay, architect. Some are saying yes, some are saying no. Yes, architects create homes for us. What else do architects do? Do they only build homes? They build homes, they build monuments, they build basically everything, right? Everything that we see around us. So they can use different designs. If you talk to architects, there are lots of different ways of architecture that are out there. Which how do you make designs which are eco-friendly? So use natural light to the utmost, so you don't have to use that many lights in the daytime. use and positioning of windows, positioning of open spaces so that you can get free flowing air to reduce cooling. A lot of different new designs, a lot of different traditional designs, a lot of different materials that go into building that can help. So even architects, through the work that they're doing, can build, let's say, a school or a building complex or a hospital or whatever that they're building, right? In a way that is going to be more eco-friendly and not cut down. So exactly, look at where they're building, see how they can use the trees on the land as part of the landscape. Okay, this one's interrelated. An engineer. Can an engineer do something? Yes, no, yeah, make apps, don't know. Yeah, so when it's, for example, if this was a civil engineer working very close with architects, right? What kind of materials are going into the building? How are we building these materials? If there are other engineers, right? Like lots of different other engineering firms. So yeah, whatever that might be, build apps, build technology that can help um, innovate and see how this technology can actually help. So different kinds of technologies as well. Solar, wind, these are all technologies. Okay, the next one. And this we spoke about a little bit already. This is a singer or an artist. This is similar to what we spoke, maybe similar to the one that in the a painter. Yeah. Can a singer do something? They can help us relax. Yes. So spread awareness through the music, through the performances, through the dance, whatever that they're doing. Yeah. A lawyer. Next one. Can the lawyer do something? Yes. Some very clear yeses. Some are saying no. Provide justice. Yes. There's a lot of environmental law that is out there. Yeah. So there is environmental law is a big part of law. Trying to see how can we ensure that the earth has a voice in our judicial system, right? Somebody needs to have a voice for the earth, for our natural resources, for the planet. So by making laws, by enforcing laws, by fighting for it, whatever that might mean. Officer, policeman, some sort of person in a place of power. Yes, they can help stop crimes. Forest officers already exist, yes. Safety, ensure that people are actually the laws that exist are being enforced. Yeah. So lots of different things. Researcher, we spoke a little bit already under science, but anything else for a researcher that someone would want to say? Maybe research and develop new things, right? And see how things have worked in the past, build from there, bring new ideas. A politician, can you think a politician can do something? Make law, development, yes. Enforce laws. What else can a politician do? Make new laws that protect the environment. Make sure that people are actually doing what they're supposed to do. Creating stronger laws, leading the nation, absolutely. So as they decide what and how the nation is going to develop, a big point can be how can we develop in harmony with nature? Yes, someone at some point at the start said sustainable development, and this we can talk about later. But a lot of development ensures that we're actually working together with nature. All right. So this is how we've seen careers that currently exist, right? Careers, each and every career that we've spoken about in the big picture of things. How can they be a part of protecting the planet? So the last bit for today is how can we get started? You, me, all of us. What are the things that we can do not in the next 5 years, 10 years, once you have your careers and once you're there? What can we do today? Because a lot of you said, we need to protect the planet not just for future generations, we need to protect it for ourselves. We need to ensure that in the next 10 years, we do have a livable, thriving planet to protect. So what can we do today? you, me, everyone in this room, is there anything we can do today to get started? Someone saying plant trees. Yes. Where can we plant this tree? If we had to go back and say this weekend, I'm going to do one thing that is going to help protect the planet, where can we do this? In your garden. You can plant a seed at least. If you don't have a garden, if you have a windowsill, get a little pot, plant a seed. Can we do that? Miyawaki forest, can we do forest in our homes? Some people maybe you can do it if you have an area around. In your balcony, in your windowsill. So basically, simple thing is growing something, right? Anything else? Can we look at what's happening to our waste in the house? Are we segregating our waste? As simple as that. Wet and dry. Make sure that that is not entirely all going to the landfill. Can we do something in our housing complexes? Maybe in our buildings, maybe in our classes in school. So different things that we might do. Okay, this is the last 2 minutes and then we're done. So after this, we're going to end. But anything else that you think you can do? Plastic bags. Yes, look at what we're using on a day-to-day. Look at what is coming, reusing things, not throwing things unnecessarily. Very simple. Can we understand the difference between a need and a want? The very simple difference, and this is going to be for each of you, right? It is a very individual thing. Things that you need, things that you want. And before you get something that you want, can you think a little bit and question and say, do I need this? Do I really need to get this? So before you get a new thing, just think a little bit. Can we talk to other people in your homes, in your classes? Right? So no matter where you are, talk to your friends, to your family members, to your parents, whatever that might be. There are 3 R's, yes? So lots of different things that we can do. And I think you all know you're coming up with so many different ideas. Yeah, you're coming up with so many different solutions. So I think that's where we'll pause for today. Yes, the bottom line is one, that no matter what we do, there's always something through the work that we do which can tailor towards the planet. So we don't need to have very specialized careers. We don't need to be all scientists, all big politicians, all decision makers, all environmentalists. But there can be, no matter what we do, we can do something through the work that we're doing to protect the planet. And the other bit is there's something that we can do today, right? So we can start off today itself, starting today, tomorrow, this week. That's something that we can do. We can take back and say, okay, we're going to do something to protect the planet. So from there, we'll pause today. Hopefully, we'll see you all tomorrow. Anubhuti, back to you to close us out.
Thank you so much, Geeta, for that super informative session on green careers. I could see that children were bursting with energy and ideas, and the chat strip had broken all records. I hope it gave you all a fresh new lens to look at the future. And to all of you young change makers, thank you for showing up with such enthusiasm today. But don't disappear just yet. The journey is only half done. To earn your participation certificate, you need to attend at least 30 minutes both today and tomorrow. So be there to complete the mission tomorrow. Tomorrow's session is going to be a blast with fun activities, breakout rooms, and even a career skill poll and a whiteboard. So you don't need to bring anything, just get your energy, excitement, and passion to build a cooler planet. So see you all tomorrow, same time, same place. I'll now open the session and request my friend Sukanya to unmute all of you. And you can then say your thank yous and goodbyes. And we can be back here tomorrow at the same time.
Thank you, ma'am, for this
Thank
amazing
you.
Bye,
session.
ma'am. Have a nice day.
Thank you,
Thank you,
ma'am, for this
ma'am, for
unbelievable
this
Thank you, ma'am.
session.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank
Bye,
you
ma'am.
for this
Thank
session.
Thank you for
Thank you, ma'am. Bye, ma'am.
best
Bye,
section.
ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank
Bye,
you,
ma'am.
ma'am. Bye, ma'am.
Thank you,
Bye,
ma'am.
ma'am. This was such a
Thank you, ma'am. Bye.
entertaining and
It was such a
encouraging
great
session.
experience.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so
Bye,
much.
ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
It was very great interacting with
This
you.
was such an encouraging and entertaining session. I didn't even feel
It was
bored
such
at
a
all.
great experience
This
here.
session was such a
Best
organized and a nice
best experience ever.
session.
Bye, ma'am. Bye, ma'am.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for
Thank
organizing
you,
such a
ma'am. Bye, ma'am.
beautiful and nice
Thank you, ma'am.
session.
All your love. This is very heartwarming. Please see us tomorrow. Kalbiana, make sure you come tomorrow if you want to get your participation certificates. That will be great. We will love to offer it to you for having contributed to the session today. So make sure come tomorrow also. All right.
Of course, ma'am, I would love to.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Hita. Thank you so much, Shrishti. And thanks a lot
Viveka.
to your team.
All right. Thank you, everyone. See you tomorrow. Bye.
Bye, Viveka. Yeah.